so excited to be with all of you today. I'm going to be up here for about the next 10 minutes. And my goal is that during that time, you would be excited and inspired by the amazing work the EXP community is doing. For those who don't know, News Story is a nonprofit that focuses on pioneering solutions to end global homelessness. We're going to talk about what that means, but I want to start with the families that we work with. People like the Martinez family, who have lived in this house for the last 12 years. It's where they've raised their children. As you can see, there's dirt floors. The walls are made of scrap wood and materials they found around their community. Thinking about the families we work with make me think about families like the ones we work with in Haiti, where they've been living in tarp tents since the 2010 earthquake. And despite that, they are filled with joy and optimism. I could tell you story after story about families who are living in situations like this. Families who every day are making decisions that no human should be faced with. Because the reality is that more than 1.6 billion people worldwide are living without adequate shelter. But the good news, and there is good news, is that homelessness is a solvable problem. We know the solution, it's building more homes. I have been super fortunate to be able to meet families like the ones you saw at the beginning, and then see them again after they've moved into a News Story community. Children that had been doing their homework on dirt floors and were having a hard time in school. And then I saw them when we went back, and they were living in their simple but safe homes. They were excited to show me their bedrooms. And what they were most excited about is not just the safety. They're children. They're excited about having a place to draw and do their homework and dream about what the future could be. Now, my hope is by this point, many of you are nodding because this room gets it. A home unlocks a family's ability to thrive. It's what you all see in your businesses every day. A home is more than four walls or an address. It enables kids to do better in school. It enables community with one another. It means people like Claudia, who you can see on the screen, are able to start a business. Since receiving her home, she started a tortilla business, and she now is able to provide for her family because she has an asset that she could have never dreamed of on her own. News Story has been around for about 7 years, and our focus is really simple. It started out with how do we get families out of survival mode and into safe shelter. Over our first 7 years, we've built 2,200 homes across 26 communities in Haiti, El Salvador, Bolivia, and Mexico. And that means we've impacted about 12,000 lives. Thank you. The thing is, we truly believe it's just the start. I want to talk a little bit about why it works, because if there's anything I know about the EXP community, it's that you all think about things, right? You can look at the numbers and see the amazing pictures, and it feels good, but you also want to know what makes us different and how you know you can trust us. When News Story started, it was really important that innovation was at the forefront of our work. And not just because innovation is like a sexy word to put on every website and it's great for pitch decks, but because the biggest problems in the world are only getting bigger. We knew what many of you have experienced. Often traditional charity is broken. And you might not have expected somebody who works for a charity to say that, but it is. So we started with our donors in mind. When you donate to News Story, 100% of that goes directly to the field to build a home. We have we have a small group of private donors who cover my salary, our team's travel here, our office, all of our operational expenses, so that you know exactly where your money is going. Our impact team is the best in the business, and they get to spend their days and lives thinking about the hard problems. Building a home for somebody is not as simple as it sounds. There's lots of implications we have to think about. They're the ones ensuring that we're hiring all local labor and buying our materials locally to ensure we're having a positive impact on the local economies where we work. They're also the ones who enable one of my favorite parts of our entire organization, and that's our lean participatory design process. Now, y'all are in housing, so I'm curious how many of you would buy a house for a client and never ask them what they need or want with that house? You never would, right? Because you wouldn't be able to do it successfully. Unfortunately, that's the norm with social housing. People in America think we know they need a house, so we're gonna build one and then we're gonna give it to them. With New Story, we don't move a piece of dirt in a community until we invite the families into the process. This provides dignity to these families, and it also ensures that we're building what they need, a home that they will stay in for generations to come. Because of that, no community is the same. Every community is slightly different, customized to the needs of those families who live there. So when I say New Story pioneers solutions to end global homelessness, that's what I mean. For us, it's more than just building the homes. It's thinking about the construction improvements that we can make. It's thinking about new technologies that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible so we can get more families into homes safer, cheaper, faster, and at a higher quality. You've heard a lot from me, so I want to pause for a minute and let you hear from some of the families that we work with to learn a little bit more about the opportunity and the impact of home for those families.
We all want for our families. We want a safe, dry place for them to sleep at night. We want a place to make home-cooked meals to fill the bellies of our children. We want a place where we can welcome each other home after a long day's work. We want a place where we can celebrate our traditions and each other. We want a place we can call home. But not everyone is so lucky. Many of us struggle to make ends meet. Many of us must go to sleep cold and wet, with barely a roof above our heads. Many of us drink unclean water and suffer the sicknesses it brings. We have to look our children in the eyes as we decide between safety and education. We do our best with what we have. But most of the time, it's still not enough. So we're asking you to join us, to come together and celebrate a proud, strong, beautiful people. To build new homes where families can flourish and children can grow. To build new communities where friends can gather and traditions can thrive. To help write a new story that will be passed down for generations to come. A story of hope, of respect, and of love for one another. Together, today, we will build the change we want to see in the world.
Today, each of you has an opportunity. New Story and EXP have partnered this year to build a 100-home community in Mexico for the families that you just heard from. Glenn is very generously matching $300,000 in donations for this community. Choosing to partner with New Story matters because these families and their future matters. And you all, I know, are a group of visionary leaders, right? You're generous people who can dream on behalf of your businesses and on behalf of the clients that you get to work with. And today, we have an opportunity to stand up for those families. Now, I realize that you've been listening to me talk for a little while and you've been in this room for a long time, so it's easy to check out at this point. It's easy to think, I'll do it later, I'll think about it later, this isn't for me, I already do something else. At News Story, we have a saying, and that's dream big but start small. I wish I could tell you that in this room right now we could end homelessness. The fact of the matter is we can't. But we can end homelessness for 100 families while we're in this room together. So I'm asking you to dream on behalf of them. Because you and I both know that the power of home changes everything. We have a QR code here. Now, this is one of the few times that a speaker really wants you to see you pull your phone out, right? Normally, that's like a bad sign, they're not engaged. But to me, right now, that would say, hey, I'm really listening, right? I want to engage with News Story. I would estimate there's maybe 2,500 people in this room, right? About half of the people here, let's say they're in here. Right now, if each of you donated $100, we would be to our goal. 100 families would have safe housing. The reality is that some of you maybe can't do $100. Maybe some of you can fund a full home for just $6,000. But if everybody does what they can, you spend 1 minute scanning this code, the reality is we will be able to impact these families. Our team is here at a booth all week. If you want to talk about getting your business further involved, if you want to talk about making a larger donation, if you have questions, I hope that you'll come visit us. But on behalf of News Story, the families that you all saw today, and the families that I look forward to introducing you to in the future, because of the impact this room had, thank you so much.